What's good, G Life? This right here is beautiful Killer Cali, California, my home, born and raised out of California. Now, when it comes to California, you have different areas within California. You have Northern California, you have Southern California. You have it broken down into different areas. You have San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, Orange County, San Diego, Los Angeles, Antelope Valley, San Bernardino, Riverside, and all of that, right, is broken into, areas. So when people tell me, am I from these areas? Who am I to speak on, this and that area? Do I even know, how it is life in Los Angeles? I say I'm from the Valley. How come I speak on Los Angeles and everything? So let me give a breakdown of my home area, my hometown, where I come from. I come from the 818 San Fernando Valley, right? Now, where is the San Fernando Valley? Well, as you can see from right here, from what I'm posting right here on the screen, the San Fernando Valley is literally right next to LA. It's about, a 15, 20-minute drive, away, depending on where you're at. As you can see from right here, it doesn't take that long to get from, Los Angeles to, the San Fernando Valley. And, my area right here, once you go Nella, and then it becomes, right here, Glendale, which is already the San Fernando Valley, 818. And then, it starts to turn into Burbank right here. And then you end up in my area right here, North Hollywood. Because this is the area in which I come from, the area I was brought up in, the city of NH, North Hollywood, the city of no hope, as they call it, right? So now I'm going to give a breakdown of my city, right, in all its chaos and glory, the area I was brought up in, raised, and all the madness that's around it. So without further ado, let's get into it. I keep it G like a G is supposed to. I'm from the old school, no one comes close to. Post it up and I do what I want to. Post it up and I do what I want to. I keep it G like a G is supposed to. I'm from the old school, no one comes close to. Post it up and I do what I want to. Post it up and I do what I want to. I keep it true and I mean every last word. I was fooled by the truth, real gangsters. White tee creased up with a strap too. I'm from the bottom where we earn all our tattoos. Boy, it's taboo when you living just like I do. Air is up and we keep it all blue. I keep it loony and I don't mean like cartoons. They talk brave till they hear that click, clap, boom. It is what it is, we do what the G's do. Celebrate so we hot box the whole room.
You are now watching M.O.D. Entertainment.
Now, for the non-believers who think that it's not the same thing, the Valley and Los Angeles, but it's two different things, and wooty wah, to put it in this, perspective, we are patrolled by LAPD. That's who covers our neighborhoods, our turfs. That's who we be running away from and who's out to get us. LAPD. Not San Fernando Valley PD, not North Hollywood PD, but LAPD, their bureaus in the San Fernando Valley. That's why you have this right here. What I'm showing you guys right here is the LAPD, website, whatever. You see that it's listed on here, a part of the Los Angeles, police department. That's what we're patrolled by. So how is it? Oh, it's different. And if we're being patrolled by the same damn law enforcement. I mean, that's literally how close we are in what it is, Now, in the San Fernando Valley, you do have a lot of different areas that are chaotic and where it goes down. You have North Hills, Panorama, Pacoima, San Fernando. You have some Valley. You have Van Nuys. You have all these areas, Canoga, Reseda. All these areas that are, gang infested, corrupted, and where it goes down, bro. Where the real ghettos. When people think about the Valley, they think about the high life, the hills, and all this and that. No, there's real ghettos out here and real gangs and gang members that do real things. And certain parts of the San Fernando Valley are a little bit more, how can I say, more corrupted and more ghetto than other areas, to put it in, layman terms. Now, the area of North Hollywood is one of the most gang infested and notorious areas, in the San Fernando Valley. It is home to a lot of different barrios, and which we'll be covering right here. It's gonna have to take part in two parts because I mean we're talking about like I don't know like a dozen different gangs. So obviously they're not gonna be able to fit in all in one video, you know. But we'll be starting off with some of the oldest ones, right here. Now, when it comes to the city of North Hollywood, like I said, there is different barrios, within this area, and some of the oldest ones is, for example, the 18th Street Gang, the North Side 18th Street Gang. Obviously, it originates out of Los Angeles, out of the Pico Union District, but they had so many different members, and members do end up moving to different locations and setting up shop, right? And the San Fernando Valley be no different, right? Now, originally, when they landed in the San Fernando Valley, they landed in the city of North Hollywood. That is where they started off their north side 18th Street branch of their barrio. Right now, their territory in North Hollywood is spread out to different locations. Right, they originally landed on the Hart Street block, but then through inner fighting, with my neighborhood and Hart Street and stuff like that, they end up moving to now what's the Lancashire portion of North Hollywood, which is everything that's around the Lancashire Swami, right? And all the back streets of that, where the Home Depot's at, all those dead ends by the Mango Tango, and the Lancashire Swami, and throughout all of Sherman Way, right? And those are almost getting close to Sun Valley Middle School is where you're able to find the 18th Street neighborhood, but they are just not located here within North Hollywood, because as time passing by, they even spread out to different areas of NH, and not only that, but different areas of the San Fernando Valley, right? To areas like even in the West Valle by Canoga, Reseda, and all of that, and even by Van Nuys, you're able to find them now, scattered. That's the thing with 18th Street. They have members, just scattered through, multiple different locations. But obviously, their original home in, right here in the San Fernando Valley, was right here in NH. You know what I mean? And through all these back streets. And like I said, there are a few hundred members to them with several clicas, Mid-Valley gangsters like Clones, Fryer, they have, different clicas, vets. They did get large in numbers, right? And they do tend to feud, with every other barrio within the area. That's pretty much how it goes down in North Hollywood. All these barrios do tend to just beef it with each other. That's pretty much how it goes, around these parts. So, they do handle business right there. I'm not going to take nothing away from them. They do put in their work, and they do their thing, you know what I mean? And they still do to, still be established right there, holding it down for their side. Now, as I had mentioned about the 18th Street Gang landing here in North Hollywood and feuding with other neighborhoods in the area in which they landed in, I had mentioned about Hart Street, right? Which Hart Street was a barrio right here in North Hollywood, which, essentially its turf was everything that's my barrio now. We always had a good relationship with these individuals, obviously homeboys who had family members who were from the Hart Street neighborhood. So we always had a pretty much good bond and alliance with these individuals. Hart Street now in itself was never a big gang. They were just, up to, 20 to 30 members, but that were down, they were with the business. They were doing real things. They had real individuals. I know a lot of these individuals. I know they're down for their stuff. I know that they with the program. Their territory was everything that, extended towards, Hart, everything that was, pretty much everything that was from what's Hart and Lauren Canyon, you take Hart all the way down to where you reach the end of Morella, was their territory, right? Now, since then, the neighborhood, transitioned in because of my neighborhood being there, and it pretty much ended up, passing the torch down to us. Some of their members did end up, getting into our hood, and, we kick it, and they're even seen as the OGs from, my neighborhood, down individuals, you know what I mean? Like I said, I know a lot of these individuals, from this neighborhood, you know what I mean? Pato, Diablo, Moreno, Shorty, a lot of these individuals that were really, with the business. And like I said, they were going at it with 18th Street right there, right? Because both neighborhoods were battling for territory. And since, we used to get along with both. But then, like I said, with tensions between them two, and just us having a more close tie with Hart because of the, family members, caused the rift between, and why 18th Street, decided to, put a pretty much, start the beef with us, and why they ended up having to be, why they ended up relocating, right? Because, of us and Hart being right there. Since, then, Hart Street pretty much how it ended up passing the torch to us, only has, older veteranos to their neighborhood. Occasionally, you do have a youngster here and there from their neighborhood, but it's all gravy, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Hart Street right there was a real barrio holding it down, being a real neighborhood, right here in North Hollywood since the 70s. And yeah, they were really doing their thing right there. Now, like I had said, the 18th Street Gang was not the only LA gang to set up shop right here in the city of North Hollywood. You have other barrios that landed here in the area as well. As a matter of fact, even before them. And one of the barrios that landed here was one of Los Angeles' oldest and recognized barrios. This barrio is already dating back long time, to the 20s. But we're talking about one of when it comes to the Chicano barrio culture in California, one of its oldest barrios, which is known as the Clanton gang, C14, Clanton 14th Street. Even though they originated out of the Los Angeles area, they did have homies, like I said, who end up, moving and setting up shop, right? And they set up shop right here in North Hollywood. Like I said, it's already older than every gang in, North Hollywood. So they already had OGs and a gang of members. So they were already doing the damn thing. And this is what they called home, the city of North Hollywood, But it's not written north side, Clanton. It's written still the west side of Clanton. But they landed here in North Hollywood. Right? And their territory was pretty massive. Their territory was everything that was from Vanowen. Their turf, extended all the way to Violin. And from Violin, their turf went all the way down to where Burbank Boulevard's at. And from Burbank Boulevard all the way to Cahuenga Boulevard. And Cahuenga Boulevard all the way back around, throughout Clybourne. And still, heading, back into Vanowen. So we're talking about everything in the middle was considered their barrio, towards Cleon, Oxnard, Kittredge, Victory, all of that, was considered the, Clanton's neighborhood, right? Broken up into, sub-gang cliques, sub-cliques of their barrio. Like I said, it's, a few hundred members to it. It's one of, the 818's, largest neighborhoods. Like I said, because just of their history, just because they've been around for so long, right? I'm not going to take nothing away from these individuals, you know what I mean? My neighborhood and, we have had our issues, and I have dealt with these individuals a lot. So I know that these individuals, handle their business. And like I said, I'm not a hater. I'm not going to take nothing away from it, you know what I mean? They are, they really did their thing, you know what I mean? I know we could say, back and forth and whatnot, but I know that we recognize, what it is on both sides, the casualties and all of that, you know what I mean? Because at the end, pretty much there's no winners. But yes, the Clanton neighborhood is a real neighborhood right here in North Hollywood that was doing their thing and continue to still do their thing right there and represent for theirs. Now, when it comes to the city of North Hollywood, like I said, and we have, old LA gangs that sprouted and landed right here. Since then, you did have some, barrios that, came up that were homebred, right? That were originally out of the San Fernando Valley. One of them was a neighborhood that gets along with the Clanton barrio, due to family members, and all of that. So they tend to kick it, they you could say they're clicked up. So, I guess they were like their OGs. Clanton was their OGs, which is the North Hollywood boys. Even though both barrios are two separate barrios, they move as like one, you know what I mean? They hang out together and back each other up and stuff like that, The NHBZ, the North Hollywood Boys. The North Hollywood Boys is a barrio that has been established here in North Hollywood since the 80s that it was established. A few hundred members to them. Obviously, one of North Hollywood's largest neighborhoods, due to the amount of territory and like I said, they just been always right there doing their thing. And their turf was everything, or is everything, that's from Victory Boulevard. Their turf extends all the way to Tahunga. And from Tahunga, their turf still stretches all the way to what I would say is Oxnard. From Oxnard, all the way to Lancashire. And from Lancashire, I would still say that their turf still extends all the way towards Burbank Boulevard, and from Burbank Boulevard, their territory heads, to Violin and back around. Everything in the middle, right next to, like I said, Clanton's neighborhood, is considered their barrio. You know what I'm saying? Which is a massive amount of territory that we're talking about, um, throughout that area. But the belly of the beast, their main domain, their dojo of their barrio was on Tierra Street. Tierra was, where you were able to catch them, where they did their thing. That was, obviously they had, the victory is as well, because you have the victory winos, because they have picas in themselves too, right? To their barrio. But Tierra was, you already knew that that's where they were at, and where you could do business. Like I said, this is another neighborhood that my neighborhood tends to arch rivals, and countless pretty much action on both sides. It's pretty bad. You know what I mean? So I could say that these individuals did do their thing, and still continue to represent for theirs right there in their turf, and for the NHBZ. Now, even though you have the NHBZs, the oldest of the North Hollywood, when it comes to homebred North Hollywood neighborhoods, is actually their counterparts, which is known as the Barrio NHLS. NHLS standing for North Hollywood Locos. The North Hollywood Locos is different from the North Hollywood Boys, two separate gangs. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, rivals and heavy animosity, so you don't want to confuse them. The North Hollywood Locals is actually older than the North Hollywood Boys, right? And obviously, because of the time frame, they are larger than the boys, and they tend to feud with Clanton and the boys. You know what I mean? North Hollywood Locals is just a neighborhood that was always right here doing their thing. Dating back already a long, long time. You know what I mean? Right here in the city of North Hollywood. Now, the Locos territory is located in two different locations, but where they originated out of was the area that is right here on everything that's from Burbank Boulevard, all the way to Cahuenga. Cahuenga, their turf still stretches all the way to Magnolia. Magnolia, their turf heads out all the way to Violin. Violin, all the way back to Burbank and back around. Everything in the middle is considered their barrio. But the belly of the beast, the heart of the hood, is on Denny Street, or Denny Avenue, but Denny Street is the same thing. On Denny, you know what I mean? Cleon, all of that is what's considered the North Hollywood Locals territory, and where the Magnolia Park is at. That is the North Hollywood Locals domain, dojo. Like I said, a few hundred members to them, easily more than 300 members to these barrios. Like I said, some of North Hollywood's most largest barrios that have been doing their thing right here. You know what I mean? Like I said, holding their own. Now, not only located here in this area, but you can also find the Locals located in a separate area, and this area would be towards what's known as where Vanoan Street is at. Vanoan Street, their territory heads out all the way to where the Tahunga Wash is at. From the Tahunga Wash all the way to what's Victory Boulevard all the way to Coldwater Canyon and back around. Everything in the middle is considered their barrio. What's considered the projects. You know what I'm saying? Right there on Vanoan. I know people have seen it. It made the news because of the criminal activity that happens right there, and all kinds of like I said, Hollywood Locals is a large neighborhood. Now, the reason they ended up being in two different locations is that right here was a known tag banging crew that was working its way up, to becoming a neighborhood, BLC, blazing like crazy, all of that, was a, pretty well-known tag banging crew. This was their area in which they did their thing, you know what I mean? Obviously going at it with the MS and everything, because they tend to share right there, and then creates havoc. They ended up becoming a part of the North Hollywood Locals. So since that's where they were at, and they ended up becoming a part of the Locals, obviously when they got into the Locals, well, that became a part of their territory too. You know what I mean? Like I said, the Locals is a large, neighborhood that's been right here already for a long time doing their thing, and continue to still hold it down for the NHLS.